Welcome back to the S&T Football Podcast. Today we are talking about the semifinals. We have the number 10 Miami Hurricanes versus the number 6 Ole Miss Rebels. Yes, can you believe it? College football is at its most parity that we have ever seen, I think, up to this point. I mean, the teams that we are seeing in the Final Four this year are just unbelievable. Like, if you would have told me before the season that Indiana, Ole Miss, and Miami would be in the Final Four for the national championship, I would have told you you're a liar. I would have straight up told you you're a liar. And yet here we are. And that is just the beauty of what college football has become. I know we have talked about all of the bad things, regarding the playoff structure and little kinks here and there. I know we've complained and vented about that, but I do want to say that college football is probably at its most entertaining and just most competitive that it's ever been. Like, we are seeing teams that we have never seen before make it to the elite championship contender type level. Teams like Indiana, Texas A&M, Mississippi, Texas Tech, like this is awesome. This is absolutely amazing. College football is at its peak, and I'm just loving every single bit of it. I'm loving it. It's been beautiful. The games just keep getting better and better as we get closer to the end. I expect I expect the same as we get into the semifinals and then into the championship game. So this is going to be a really good one down there in Glendale, Arizona. This will kick off at 7:30 Eastern time on Thursday night. So we only got a few days, following this past weekend that we've had with New Year's and NFL and all that great stuff. So, without much further ado, Tom, let me know what you think about this great matchup we have here: SEC versus ACC to get to the Natty.
Well, I think the number one word for it is it's been fun so far. Not for my pockets because I continue to bet the wrong way, but that's neither here nor there. But Miami upsetting Texas A&M first round. That was an absolute street fight. Most people might call that game boring because it was only 10-3, but I love me a good defensive matchup like that. Miami was flying around. Texas A&M was playing really good defense too. I mean, only holding a top 10 team to 10 points. I mean, you would expect if you're Texas A&M before the game against Miami, and I'll just keep this short because that's not the game we're talking about, but if you told Texas A&M before the game you're only going to hold Miami to 10 points, Texas A&M would probably be like, we're going to win by 14. But didn't happen because Miami's defense, man, they had a couple the only bad games was when they lost, actually, like realistically. And they lost to teams that they shouldn't have lost to. But here we are. When it comes time to play, they showed up to play. And so they beat Texas A&M solely based off their defense. And their strategy worked. Their strategy was, let's not have Carson Beck throw the ball downfield every other play. Like, we're gonna dink and dunk. We're gonna play the field position game. If we can't, if we can get a field goal, get a field goal. If we can score, then great. But we're just gonna dink and dunk, play field position. And then they go play Ohio State. Ohio State knows what their game plan is, because if you're Miami, you're doing the same thing against Ohio State. Texas A&M and Ohio State, to me, are very similar teams on offense, where yeah, they have good quarterbacks, but their quarterbacks, it's like, are their quarterbacks good because they have a good run game and great receivers? Probably. And then they have a good offensive line as well. So Miami just kind of exposed. It's like, well, we're going to try and make the quarterbacks beat us here, because if we can shut down the run game and we can lock up the receivers, what can a quarterback do? They can't do anything. Like, bottom line, even like they're still good quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong. They'll probably both end up in the NFL at one point. I don't know if they'll be like first round top 10 picks, but Miami's defense, my Lord, they are the only reason Miami's still in this. But you know the saying. You know the saying, Cezanne. What does defense do?
Defense wins championships, Tom.
Yes, sir. And so Miami right now, like, and I don't think this is even arguable, really. Miami right now has the best defense, period. Point blank, period. Miami, best defense in the country. So, I
Indiana
mean,
have something to say about that, but I would at this point, yeah, the last
right,
the
okay, over the entire season, I'll take Indiana. But right now,
yeah,
I'll take Miami's defense.
yeah,
Miami's defense, I mean, gosh, they got some Florida Jits flying around the field, dude. Like flying around the field.
it's
Just reckless abandon, bro. Reckless abandon, laying people out, blowing up screenplays, pick sixes off screenplays, not even just blowing them up, just blowing dudes up in the back. Like it's insane.
oh for real.
Pass rush every single play. There was not a single play in that Ohio State game where, I mean, I'm sure there was probably a couple, like realistically, but every time Miami wanted to touch the quarterback, they touched the quarterback. And that's Ohio State and Texas A&M. 2 games in a row. They touch the quarterback when they want to. And that is huge in college football because you got like the stadium noise, you got this, that, and the other. And I told you this before we started the call, but a bye week, in my opinion, has hurt teams more than it has helped them. And I know that ESPN like posted a stat, this, that, and the other, but I've known this personally as a Vikings fan. Again, a side note, I'm not gonna go too long on it, but anytime my Vikings have a good season and we get a bye week, we lose. It's automatic. It just happens every time. And I don't know the exact number or the exact record of teams that have a bye week and then lose their first game in the playoffs, but it's not they don't have a winning record. And so, I mean, again, that's another conversation for another day, but I think that maybe the playoffs need to be a little bit readjusted because if you have like Miami was coming into Ohio State just flaming hot, like amazing defense, beat Ohio State good. But now I'll get on to Miami Ole Miss. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there. This is going to be the epitome or epitome, however you say that word, of defense versus offense. Because I think right now Ole Miss's offense is probably the best offense in the college football playoff, going up against Miami's defense, which is the best defense in college football right now. So it's going to be offense versus defense. And honestly, I don't know because it's going to be a battle of two titans. So I don't really know if I can pick because I was wrong about Miami, Ohio State, and I was wrong about Ole Miss, Georgia. And now we got Ole Miss playing Miami. So I'm kind of like in no man's land right now where it's like I didn't think either of these teams were even going to be here. So it's going to be Ole Miss offense. I mean, Chambliss is playing out of his mind right now. I mean, that guy he has a really good story, going from like no D1 offers, went D2, ended up at Ole Miss now, and now he's probably currently playing the best football of any quarterback left in college football. So, Fernando Mendoza may have something to say about that, but I think like respectively for like what he's done to carry Ole Miss to this point is more impressive than what Mendoza has done at Indiana. Not saying Mendoza didn't deserve the Heisman, but I'm just saying I think Chambliss right now is the best quarterback in college football, and I think Miami has the best defense in college football. And Ole Miss has weapons all over the place, and they don't have a terrible defense or anything, but when you're looking at Miami's defense, boy, Miami's going to be a tough defense to score on for Ole Miss, but it's going to be two Titans going head to head. So I think Ole Miss gets some. I think the Miami defense gets some. I think what it really comes down to is can Miami's offense keep up with Ole Miss's offense? Because if Miami's offense can outscore the Ole Miss offense, there's no doubt about. I mean, obviously that's how football works. Is whoever scores more points wins. But I think I mean like well, I guess what I should rephrase that. If Miami can score. 21 points on offense, I think they win the game because I think the Miami defense, they'll probably end up giving up a touchdown, maybe two to Ole Miss and maybe a field goal or two or something. But like I don't see Miami's defense giving up more than 21. And so I mean, that's what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. But I'll let you finish it off here, Cezanne, because I went on a little side tangents, multiple side tangents, actually. So you go ahead and yeah, take it away. Let me know what you think.
All good there, Tom. You said a lot of great things. You made a lot of good points about this matchup here. And I want to piggyback off a couple things you said. One, don't want to go down the rabbit hole about the playoff structure either, but yes, another very interesting thing that we have to talk about regarding the playoff structure come to offseason and whatnot is this bye situation. The stat was that bye teams ever since last year when we included the byes and all that stuff, they were 0-6 before Indiana beat Alabama. So they finally got a win, the bye teams, but then Georgia lost for a second year in a row getting a bye, which brings us to a total of 1-7 for bye teams ever since last year. And we are now starting to see it's not really the advantage that it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a reward for winning your conference and being the best teams in the country, and it's proving to not be that. So just want to say that, and that was a good point that you made, and we're gonna have to talk about that in the future. Um, this game right here, Ole Miss versus Miami. I am just so intrigued by this matchup. On the Ole Miss side, I mean, the whole Lane Kiffin drama, the fact that this team was able to bounce back from that, not let it affect them to the point where they, had any problems against Tulane at all, and then people were doubting them against Georgia, said they had no chance and that they were going to get it mopped. They're going to get it mopped up by the Bulldogs, and they were able to go out there and probably put on one of their better performances they had put out the entire season with an interim head coach. Shout out to Pete Goldman. He's just done a fantastic job ever since taking over for Lane Kiffin. And I mean, Lane Kiffin obviously, had a huge part in building this team, but the fact that he was able to take the reins and still um, not even waver at all, like bringing them to levels that Lane Kiffin would, only dreamed of, a year or two ago, getting them to this point. Well, he's doing it without Lane Kiffin, and the fact that that's happening is actually really crazy. And no one really expected it. I mean, I didn't expect it. I did pick Ole Miss to beat Georgia last week. Surprise, surprise. I know a lot of people did not have that pick, but I honestly, before the season, I never would have thought Ole Miss would be sitting here in the semifinals. Like that was never a thought that crossed my mind at all. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to see that happening. And like I said before, the parity in college football is just amazing right now. It is so refreshing to see different teams and different logos fighting for a championship at the end. Uh, you know, People like Cam Newton are the problem with college football. People like Cam Newton who go on national TV and talk about the SEC all day long and how they're the best and that no one else matters and that no, we only want to see Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama every year. Well, some people don't. Some people don't want to see Ohio State and Alabama every single year. Okay? Okay, Cam Newton. Some people want to see some other teams get a chance. And aside from the group of six conversation, that's a whole different conversation that we've talked about before. No, I'm talking about other Power Four schools. I want to see teams like Indiana. I want to see Texas A&M. I want to see Miami. I want to see Texas Tech. I want to see different teams other than Alabama versus Georgia every single year. Cam Newton, okay? So, this is great for fans like me who also agree with that. Also, are just enjoying the fact that we're seeing different logos here at the end, and I'm loving it. And this game is going to be amazing. I just want to say that, like, this game is going to be a fantastic game. I think both of these teams have fought their way here and have put on such stellar performances. You talked about Trinidad Chambliss and his story. That's just such a great story, going from Division II and basically being, like you said, like the best quarterback left in this fight, other than Fernando Mendoza. But like I think Trinidad Chambliss could go pro right now, and he would have some interest from NFL scouts. Like that's how good this guy is. Reminds me of like a Caleb Williams, Justin Fields type. Like, like you saw the way he was running around against Georgia and still making plays at the end of the day. Like, that's just crazy to me. So, very talented. On the other side, Miami. Carson Beck, obviously, he's like the headline for whatever reason, but he's not really doing too much. He's keeping them in it, but he's handing the ball off. He's handing the ball off. He's finding Tony. He's finding Tony wherever he can get him space. Like, Carson Beck is not the story for Miami. The story for Miami is that defense. Oh my goodness. I was watching Ruben Bain and what's the other guy's name? Mesidor. Oh my goodness, they were just terrorizing Julian Sayin. It was almost frightening to watch. Like, I was genuinely concerned for the safety and health of Ohio State's quarterback. I was very concerned. I was like, he does not look like he's having fun out there. And I think if you would have asked him, I don't think he would have told you anything different. He did not look fun the way he was running for his life. I mean, not really running because he's not very mobile. He was kind of just sitting there and getting teed off on. He was a punching bag for most of that game. And I don't know where this brute force from Miami was all season long. I mean, they did beat up on a couple teams during the season, but this just overwhelming force that this Miami defense has turned into ever since the playoffs have started. I don't know what happened, but letting Miami into the playoff was was quite a dangerous move for everyone because you see that they have come ready and they are not here to play around at all. Miami did not come to play with y'all. They came to take names and kick ass. Okay, so um, my prediction.
And they're done. And they're done taking names.
Right, and right. We're all out of bubble gum or whatever to say. They're just kicking
Yeah, I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
facts. They're just kicking ass now, and so when it comes to my prediction for this game, honestly, I have no idea. I mean, I just want that to be known. I have no clue about who is going to win this game, what this game is going to look like. Both of these teams have proved the world to be have proved the world wrong in these first two rounds. Obviously, most people were picking against both of them. Um, at least last week, if not the first week for Miami against A&M. So, uh, with that being said, like I don't know, I want to lean Ole Miss, and I say Ole Miss just because I think Ole Miss has such offensive firepower that if it turns into a game that you're going to have to score a few points, not a 10-3 game like Miami has done, in the first round or couple rounds, like um if you have to score points, I trust Ole Miss more to score points because I've seen it from them all season long. They have just been putting up 30, 40, 50 burgers week in, week out. It doesn't matter who it's against, by the way. They just played Georgia and put another 30, 40 points on them, just like they did the first time they played Georgia. So it doesn't matter what the defense is, I think, at this point, even though Miami's pass rush is very scary. I think Ole Miss will be able to still put up some points. Will Miami be able to put up points? It's possible because Ole Miss's defense is not as good. So that's probably the weakness of Ole Miss is their defense. But will Carson Beck be able to rise to the occasion? I don't know. In the past, he has not been able to do so. So I want to lean Ole Miss, but it's anybody's ball game at this point. This is exactly what the playoffs were made for. It was made for this kind of parody and this kind of just pure chaos and entertainment that we're seeing at the end. I don't think anybody in the world would have picked this Final Four before the season. So the fact that we have it is just absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the end. I'm going to be locked in. And it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Any final thoughts on that, Tom?
No, sir. No, sir. That was well said.
All righty, we'll end it right there. By the way, Fiesta Bowl. I did not mention that the Fiesta Bowl is this game right here, the semifinal between Miami and Ole Miss down there in Arizona. This should be a really good one. And note, if Miami wins this game, they will be hosting the national championship. The national championship will be played in Miami Gardens, Florida, where Miami plays their home games. So the Hurricanes are literally one win away from having a championship game in their own backyard, a home field advantage for the national championship. I don't know if that's ever like happened before directly. Like, I mean, I'm sure Georgia's played in like a national championship in Atlanta or something, or uh maybe like like a Florida and Miami or something. I don't know, but like that's pretty wild. I would definitely be interested in seeing what the last time that happened was. But also a very interesting storyline to be noted as well. So we'll end it there, and thank you so much for watching.